I think Dejounte said you guys were in the same high school class.
Yeah.
You know, how long have you known him? You know, what was the relationship like before he became a Pelican?
Yeah, I've known him since high school. Might have went to a couple camps together, but the rookie program right before we got in the league, we made a good relationship that kind of carried us up to now. I always check up on him when he was with other teams, with the Spurs, with Atlanta, and he's done the same for me. So it's been a good relationship.
And I mean, look, you got 1 year left in the deal. You know, what are your thoughts on, like, do you anticipate playing this year out on that contract? Do you expect to get something done before the start of campus? What are your thoughts there right now?
I don't expect anything. I'm just happy to play basketball right now. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just expect to play basketball, yeah.
And I think, you know, the video you posted on Instagram said like, you can't stay in environments where people don't understand your value. Like, what can you say just about, like, I guess, you know, what fair value is or anything like that?
What is your question?
What do you think, I guess, fair value is to you?
Fair value? I mean, I don't know. I guess you got to do your homework. I guess you got to analyze what people do well, what they don't do well, what are their habits, what is their character. And then you look at the work. You look at the work they put in and all they've done, how they treat people. But it's measured in a lot of different ways, of course. Everybody has different values, so that's how I value things. I just look at the person, I look at the work they do, and, you know, I make a judgment off of that.
I know most summers you like to unplug and kind of get away from things, but, you know, for this summer, I guess, was it difficult to kind of get away from the noise and kind of handle the amount of talk there was around you and the contract talks and all that kind of stuff?
Well, actually, it was the easiest summer. Got a chance to get away and really kind of reflect on not only the season, but reflect on life a little bit, who I wanted to be, who I wanted to be known as, and what values that I wanted to show every single day. So I had a chance to get away. I had a chance to get healthy and enjoy playing basketball.
And I guess what were some of the conclusions you came to after, you know, doing some of that self-evaluation?
I think the biggest conclusion that I came to was, you know, how long I've been playing the game of basketball, where I started, where I got the love for it from. And I had to kind of go back to that, growing up in the gym with my dad, having childhood friends, playing basketball with my childhood friends, and, you know, not really kind of relying on anybody to give me the okay to be who I want to be. And that's just some of the things that I thought about.
When we spoke in April, you mentioned perhaps needing to add a point guard to the team and how that might help you get to some more of the catch and shoots and perhaps open up different spots on the floor for you. The team went on and added Dejounte. Just how do you feel about that? A, that addition. B, just how your game's going to fit around with him around.
Yeah. Well, I think adding talent is always great. Having a player like him who's a really a bad single-handedly with Trey, with his team, running his team, and he's been a great player in the league. So it's gonna be fun to work with him. I think to play with him on the floor, but behind the scenes to kind of pick his brain a little bit and see what he sees on the floor and how we can make it easy for each other.
Well, he talked a lot about, I mean, quite frankly, he said, B.I. get your threes up is something that he's going to say often. I know, have you looked at older film where you did shoot more threes or things like that and thought about incorporating that, how you might incorporate that back in the game? And then the other part is without Jonas, there isn't really somebody this team can throw the ball into in the post. And you've shown at times the ability to post up in the mid-range, in the mid block and on the low block. Is that something that maybe that you also want to add to on a team that has so much perimeter value to maybe add something to the offense that way?
Yeah. I think I actually haven't watched any old film of myself because I didn't want to pick up any old habits. You know, I wanted to kind of just visualize the game, go in and learn some new things, work on my handle a little bit, work on some different things. And so I haven't looked at that, but I have. I've worked on shooting the basketball, yeah. So I'm pretty confident doing that. Regarding not having a big man and posting up, you know, I always do what's needed for the game. I do have that in my bag to go post up a little bit, but not as a 5-man. I never done that, like rim run or nothing like that. But we see how it work out. I know it's gonna be different. The floor is gonna be spread out a lot. I think the key part about that is rebounding the basketball. So that's something that I'm sure Coach will harp on a lot.
It would be easy, going back to the value thing, it would be easy, I think, for someone to infer from your statement over this summer that maybe you felt undervalued at that time, but would that inference be correct or incorrect? Or?
I mean, maybe, but, you know, that wasn't necessarily from a New Orleans Pelicans standpoint. You know, I don't want to, you know, anything that I feel I'm comfortable to share with everybody behind the scenes of the organization. You know, I'm not a person that wants to show up the organization or show up people around the organization. So, you know, that was personal.
Yeah, with how this summer transpired for you, for you in the contract negotiations, everything being kind of in the public talked about, do you feel like you're entering this season with a chip on your shoulder, with maybe something to prove?
I guess something to prove, but more just getting back to loving the game again, loving the process, and knowing what's important. And I think that's winning basketball games and making sure that I'm my best self every single day. And I think I have a good mindset to do those things.
Did you come to that realization after last year? I know if you remember, but you told us that it was the worst season you ever had here in New Orleans in the uniform. Did a lot of what happened last year made you think a lot about what you want to do this upcoming season?
Absolutely. I think when you go through things, you think about things and you definitely want to fix them up. Pain changes you a lot, and you know, going through hard things change you a lot. So, you know, that made me want to reflect and just think about, like I said, who I want to be, what I want to provide for my teammates, what I want to do on a nightly basis, what are the things I'm gonna sacrifice, just everything, you know. And I had a long enough summer to do it.
There were talks about you not attending the team's voluntary workout, and Griff kind of came here and said that physically it didn't make sense for you. Physically, how are you now? And then mentally, how are you preparing for the season, trying to block out some of the distractions?
Physically, I feel good. You know, I've gone through some progressions. I've gone through some ups and downs this summer. I'm trying to get this knee back healthy. And it's actually was a long summer trying to get the knee back healthy, but, you know, I'm finally at the end of it. You know, I've been working out hard, working out at 100%. And, you know, I'm ready to go.
Did it require surgery or anything?
No surgery, no.
And for a lot of guys in your situation where, you know, there's a failure to come to agreement on an extension and stuff like that, a lot of times that leads to, you know, friction or tension with the team, and Griff has been consistent in saying, you know, that doesn't exist between you guys. I guess, would you agree with that sentiment? And if so, what's allowed y'all to kind of stay on the same page regardless of what's going on with some of the off-the-court stuff?
You know, me and Griff had some conversations, a few conversations. But at the end of the day, it's a business, and it's basketball, and as long as I do the basketball part, the business is going to handle itself, whether it's here, whether it's somewhere else. But you know, I just got to continue to put the work in, and that's all I've been kind of thinking about to keep me going forward. Just, you know, I got to do my part. I got to play the game. I got to be consistent and be healthy, and show who I am, and then on the other side, take care of yourself.
And the playoff series last year, obviously, it was tough for y'all as a team and for you individually. I guess having some time to kind of reflect on that and look back on what happened in that series, I guess, what was your takeaways, and how do you feel about just kind of bouncing back from that?
I think my takeaway was, you know, the biggest takeaway for me was communication. You know, coming back from an injury that was, you know, hard to come back from before playoffs. It's you know, we all know that 5 is better than 1. Everybody being on the same page is a big thing. So, you know, I just learned communication when I'm coming back from injury like that, how to communicate with my coach, how to communicate with the organization, how to communicate with you guys, what I'm really feeling. You know, in times like that, you try to be a superhero and not having and putting everybody else over how you really feel. So that's what I kind of learned, just, you know, ways that I could communicate with my coaches and my teammates to not only put me in the best position, but put us in the best position so we can succeed. Appreciate it.